I really don't know how to start this video. Um, Last time I made a video that wasn't specifically about cubing or gaming. Um, it was my most popular video, but it was also on a topic unrelated to them. This video is about cubing. So if you've been watching my channel, like at all really, you'll know I'm a speed cuber. Almost half of my videos are on cubing, and it's a hobby that I really enjoy, and I've been doing it since 2019, technically. It would have been 2018, very technically, because it was New Year's Eve of 2018. But actual, like, speed cubing, I'd say I've been doing since 2023, maybe 2022. So 2022 was at home speed cubing, and 2023 was in competition speed cubing. And I'm gonna bring this into it. I'm a good speed cuber. I don't normally like saying stuff like this, because I personally know I can do better. And I also know that I can be faster in solving, and I am not the best at any of the events. But I'm a good speed cuber. My highest ranking solves are for single, it's square one single, even though I plus 2'd it. And for average, it's the topic of today, is clock. My first introduction to clock was in 2023, January, at my very first competition, Linwood Winter. And I only did 3x3. The only other event I could have done at the time was Megaminx, I think it had. But I didn't feel confident with my Megaminx solving. Not yet. I technically didn't even know how to solve it by the time the competition rolled around. But my introduction to clock was actually from my uncle pointing out one of the local top cubers here, and also the one who got me into square one, Max Shaw, or Max Shaw, however you want to pronounce it. I personally want to thank Max. He's been a big inspiration for a lot of my solving. And even though I took a break from it in the middle of when I first started and where I'm at now, he was the inspiration for my square one solving, and I think I have him to thank for being where I am with square one. But also he was in my introduction to clock. And the reason for that is because clock was at this competition, and I saw him solving it, and I wondered what that puzzle was. I don't remember when I got my first clock or when I actually started looking into it or anything like that. I just know that was my first experience with clock. And day one of clock went really well. I went from trying to solve it on my own because it looked simple enough, and then kind of giving up and using the paper to figure it out, and then kind of figuring it out from there. And then day one, within 2 hours of practice, I'd say, I went from 31 seconds being my first solve to an 11-second average. And I'm not joking with this. I actually was averaging 11 seconds on the clock on day one. And slowly from there, I would get to sub 10. I would get a 10 average and an 8 average global, and then in comp I would get down to an 11 average and eventually an 8 average, and now a 7 average. I also was averaging 7 globally when I went to Worlds, and then I stopped practicing, and my last average that I've done was probably the most disappointing average of clock for me, but also I hadn't practiced at all, and the first solve was an attempt at 7 simul, which really threw off my flow of things. Since then I've created a method for clock, and also I have a sub 7 average, I have a 6.88 PB average, and I have a 4-second single. I'm pretty sure I have a 3-second single, but I have no proof of it. The only proof I have of what I'm considering my current PB is the short on my 4-second clock solve. But yeah, I enjoy clock. It's always been up there for main events. It's always been a competitor of main events for me, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's competing with things like Megaminx and Square One, mind you. Square One being another event I'm good at, and Megaminx being my overall favorite event of all time. And I've had a lot of good moments with clock, even if I'm not amazing at it or not the best, or most certainly not like even that good at it. I'm definitely an intermediate level, especially since I average 8 seconds now after having not practiced for who knows how long. So I think I hate to be the one to say this. Normally, I feel like if I don't know something for sure, I won't say anything about it. And if I feel like I know it for sure and then I'm wrong, I will get upset at it, but then correct myself eventually. When it comes to this, I don't know for sure. And many other top clock solvers are saying something similar. I hate to be included in this, but I'm going to say goodbye to clock with one last recorded solve, and any other recorded solves will be from competition. This will be my last recorded at-home solve, because I have no reason. Any other recorded solves that include clock will be mini Guildford, most likely, if I even do that. So, I'm going to get set up for a clock solve, and then, yeah. You know what? I'm going to use the clock that started it all for me, and, yeah. I'm going to use the old Chi, my very first clock, and I'm going to use 2-pad because I started with 2-pad, and I think it's more fitting to use 2-pad than 4-pad for this situation. So, let me just set up the camera now. Sorry for brightness, out of brightness warning and editing. I'm going to do this. There you go. Just a good old hand scramble, and I'm going to use my old method. And I'm not going to use pinky moves. Even though I've been training myself to use pinky moves, I'm going to use thumb moves, because that's what I started with. And I think I want to tie nostalgia into my last actual recorded clock solve that isn't official or in a relay. It could have been a 7, but last recorded clock solve from me. I'm just now realizing the recording is sideways, but I can fix that in editing as well. Thank you, clock. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of my channel. Thank you, Max, for, even if you didn't intend to be thank you for being my introduction to clock and square one, and just being an inspiration for me to continue solving a bunch of these events. Thank you, Tommy Cherry, for your innovations with clock and being an inspiration to try and get better. And I want to thank Luke Garrett as well for also being an inspiration for clock, even though he doesn't solve it all that often. Like, at least he doesn't record the solves. I think his solves were really interesting to watch. Thank you to the clock community. And I'll leave you with that. I feel accomplished with clock. I mean, I've gotten everything, like every major thing I could think of. Sub 7 average with 7 simul, sub 7 average with flip, a sub 5. I have multiple sub 6s. I even have a sub 6 with Dragonfly. And that's another thing. I made my own method. So, out of all the events, I think clock is the event that has been most influential in my cubing journey. And I think it deserves to be a bigger part of my journey. So I'm going to include it in more photos related to my channel or the WCA or anything else that I do that is cubing related. Thank you for watching. And goodbye, clock.